What's your full name and what does it mean?
Okay, so my name is Kerim, Youba. Kerim means noble in Arabic or, kind. And I hope that I represent that name well.
And your last name?
My last name, Youba. Actually, my dad's name is Satu because he's from Togo. And Satu means he was born on Saturday. So he got the Mauritanian citizenship and, he turned his name to Youba, which is just a common name in Mauritania.
So in Mauritania, when you get the citizenship, you can change your name?
Yes, you can change your name if you want. I mean, most important thing is there should be a name recognized in Mauritania.
Okay. And in Mauritania, what does Youba mean or what does that represent?
Youba, I don't really know the meaning of Youba.
But you said that it's quite common there.
Yes.
And could you please elaborate a bit more about the type of people that are, what is the composition of the population in Mauritania?
Okay. So in Mauritania, we have different cultures, and I'm grateful for that because of that, I'm able to speak 6 languages. We live with all of people that speak Hassania. Hassania is derived from Arabic. We can say broken Arabic. We also have people that speak Pular, like my mom, We have people that speak French and also Arabic. So it's a multicultural country.
So you said something very interesting. So your father is from Togo. How did your father end up in Mauritania?
That's a great question because my grandma is a businesswoman. So she went to Mauritania, to just see how the country is. And she brought her kids with her. And she ended up loving Mauritania. So her kids grew up in Mauritania. And my dad married a Mauritanian woman. Yeah, that's the story.
Okay. And do you know in Togo where they're from? What's their group? What does that look like?
I actually never went to Togo, but I'm planning to visit, see my other aunties, But my grandma told me that she's from the Awuku family and her dad was a carpenter. He used to work for the president. Yeah, and they lived in Lome.
That's a very interesting blend. And also the fact that she speaks 6 languages. So how do you navigate the culture? Because you're able to speak different languages. You're able to connect with different people. The society, as you said, in Mauritania is very multicultural. We do know that there are other issues with being multicultural in general. So how do you, as Kerim, navigate all of this?
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm a chameleon because I can change my personalities depending on where I am. Because speaking a different language is also having a different personality. Because you don't have the same tonalities. You don't have the same sometimes you don't have the same expressions. So sometimes you have to sort of change your personality to be able to speak that language properly. So I'm very grateful of being from Mauritania and speaking these languages.
So there is something that you asked for this interview. You wanted it to be in English. And you said that you're more comfortable speaking English. Why is that? And explain a bit more your relationship to that language.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, my dad speaks French with me. But I feel like French is very complicated because of the grammar. Sometimes you have to say le, la, une. So I always mess up with those things. And in English, everything is simple. So because I'm lazy, English is it's not for lazy people, but to me, it's easier for me to express myself in English because I don't have to, overthink about grammar. And also because I learned it, I would say 3 years ago. So I was in the English world, speaking English every day until I start even forgetting some French and some of the other languages because I was focusing too much on, being able to speak like a native speaker.
I am very impressed. You've started learning English 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I started learning English 3 years ago because I said that's the future because it can open many doors for you. Even if you don't have a job, you can have a side hustle, teaching English, being an interpreter, a translator. So that's why I decided to learn it because I had a long-term goal. Yeah.
How did you learn that language?
I learned it, I got the grammar part from YouTube. And the other part, there's a website where you can have a language exchange. Let's say you're from British, you speak English, you want to learn French. So I had a friend from he's British, so he was learning French. And we were helping one another. I was helping him learn French and he was helping me learn English.
So there is something that you said about being lazy and French is going to make everything a bit more difficult, but you're telling me that you speak Arabic. And Arabic is quite a complex language. Or is it not for you because you grew up in it? I don't know. But so um, there must be more than there must be more than just the fact that you're lazy. I'm using lazy and it's not that you are, but is that the fact that also where French comes from and how it is in West Africa in general, and maybe even in Mauritania, what that language represents as well, that makes it less interesting to learn? I'm just wondering because there is a historical sort of imprint with that language and that country and history. So is there something that you think could be linked to that, or is it more a generational thing? You want to connect with the world, and you know that to connect with the world, English is the language.
Yes, because when you travel, there's no French. Like when I went to the US, like nobody speaks French. It's only English, and I was with some French, French-speaking people, and they were lost because at the airport, in the Turkish airport, people don't speak French, they speak English. And there was a woman who lost her flight, like, because she speaks French and she couldn't read, where her gate was. So that's why I said that, okay, I speak French, but if I travel and I don't speak English, life would be difficult for me and also for opportunities like fellowships and other things. So I decided to learn it to not be limited because I want to be independent. I don't want to rely on translators. I want to be independent and, see the world through my own, lens. Yeah.
So talking about seeing the world through your own lens, I would like to ask you something. So you're from Mauritania, have roots in Togo. Now we are in Senegal, in Dakar. You are a citizen of the world as well. But is there a moment in your life where you first realized that you were actually African?
Yes, especially when I wear my traditional dress like this one. I'm really proud of being African because Africa is also about culture because we have our traditional dresses and I'm very proud of wearing these. I wish I could wear this every day because this makes me African, And also the food. I love the foods in Africa.
So what type of food do you have in Mauritania? Tell me.
Mauritania, we have food like, Senegal, we have sabukanje, we have mafe, we have chebujan. And I really love those foods,
Could you describe what it is for us? Because a lot of people may not know what is supukanja, what is chebujin, mafe.
Yeah, I don't know how to cook them. So I would say supukanja is rice with sauce and some garlic. It's very delicious. I'm smelling it now. I don't know how, but because I'm talking about it, I'm smelling it. It's so delicious. You should try it if you haven't.
And you said something about wearing, if you could, you would wear this every day. Why can't you?
Because it's very hot, to be honest. So when you wear it, you're going to get hot. So, but in the winter, that's my favorite season because I can wear this every day.
So how do you call what you're wearing?
We call it dara'a in Mauritania.
And what does that mean, or how can you describe it?
Dara'a usually is like a long garment like this one, when it's like long, covering your whole body. So yeah, we call it dara'a. We have like different types in Mauritania, but this is like my favorite type. Yeah. I feel like I'm myself when I wear it. I feel free when I wear it.
So where is your favorite region of Mauritania and why? And if you could describe that place or area for us, would be great.
So my favorite place in Mauritania is Mbeka. Mbeka is a city. I went there once for work because there's like a prison there. We went there for work and I discovered mountains for the first time of my life. And it was really beautiful because usually like, the image of Africa that the media portrays is like, corruption, dirt, hunger. But when I went to that place, I felt like I was in Europe because it's very beautiful with the mountains. It was natural, spring, like water, coming from the mountains. I wish I could live there, for the rest of my life.
So there is something that, So you said when the media talks about Africa, they talk about corruption, hunger. and this place looked like Europe. So it means that when you also talk about Africa, when it's beautiful, it looks like Europe. So how can we take this back and rework on our own narrative?
Yeah, that's true. What you said is true. So, yeah, help me.
No, you just describe it and you say where the place is, because that's just it. It is beautiful. It doesn't need to be compared to anything else. So you saw it, you saw the mountains, you could leave it there. Maybe there was some sense of peace. Maybe there was something else. Maybe there was something new. But it exists on its own.
Yeah, it's something that we don't usually see on TV. It's something that we don't see about Africa. So, yeah.
But in your own national TVs, or what type of images do you see about your own country in your own country?
Okay. Well, we see like beautiful camel. We have a lot of camels in Mauritania. So we see that. And we see also our culture, on our TV channels. But the young generation, they don't watch, the Mauritanian TV channel. They prefer to watch, things about Hollywood, things like that.
And so you told me something about the fact that you love to swim. Where did that come from?
Yeah, a few years ago, like, I think 5 people from my neighborhood, drowned because it's not part of our culture to learn how to swim. And we don't have lifeguards. So I decided to learn how to swim in order to volunteer as a lifeguard. Like on the weekends, I would go to the beach and just volunteer, be able to help somebody because people there don't swim. And also I want to teach people how to swim. And since I was a kid, that was my dream. But a lot of people have discouraged me from that because, I don't know, they said this is for white people, But I said, this is something I want. So I saved money and I paid, somebody at the hotel. And it was expensive, but it was worth it because this is something I wanted. And also I wanted to volunteer as a lifeguard. Yeah.
So you learn how to swim by paying somebody and learn in a hotel?
Exactly. I went there, I saved money, and I paid him just to teach me how to swim.
And so now you're trying to help people learn how to swim, but also lifeguards so that people won't drown. And so I've never been to Mauritania. I would love to go. But I see a lot of beautiful photos of sand and water.
Yeah, because we have a lot of desert in Mauritania. And it's also where the ocean meets the desert, like in Namibia. But as I said, we don't see those beautiful things, on TV. And that's a problem to me. But I haven't started volunteering as a lifeguard yet because I need also some training. I need first to train myself in order to save somebody because saving somebody is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a big responsibility.
Exactly.
So I find it... I think because you saying you were telling us that you do. I mean, you were not telling us; it was just when we spoke. But so you do some videos where you help people learn English.
Yes, I give them some tips on how to effectively learn because it's not an English-speaking country, and the young generation they have only access to Arabic and French, so. We need to learn new things because a lot of people would travel and a lot of people would, look for opportunities.
Is there a possibility when it's not necessarily teaching, but a type of tips that you're talking about where you could show us, people are not in Mauritania, how beautiful the country is?
Okay, like vlogging?
Anything. Just the thing that makes you comfortable. Or it could be vlogging, it could be so many other things, but the way you describe it and some of the images that I've seen, and I hear you repeating that these are not the type of things that we see. So how can we bring those things? Because there is a sort of it's open, right? You can create content. It doesn't matter if it's 5 people or if it's 25, but it's still 25,000, but it's still out there. That's just an idea. Whilst you were talking, I was just thinking, yeah, that would be great. I would love to go and watch it. I don't know, whatever is happening, how it's happening, what people are doing, how, and they can also tell us about what they want us to see from them, right? I do have a question. You talked about going to the US at some point, and I would like to ask you because you started with your father, but what is your history of migration, like for yourself? Where did you go to? How, why,
Okay.
and where would you like to go?
All right. So I only went to two countries, which are Senegal and the US. But the country I would love to visit would be Malaysia because it's so beautiful. And the water is crystal clear. As I love swimming, I would like to go there and swim. And also Tanzania, And yesterday I came to know that in Sierra Leone, the ocean is also beautiful. So I want to visit those countries with beautiful oceans, just to discover their cultures and just, yeah, swim more.
So you said something here about you've learned that water is clear in Sierra Leone. How come?
I mean, yesterday we had a discussion, during dinner, and that lady was telling me about her country, about the ocean. So that's because usually, like as I said, when we think of Africa, we don't think about those beautiful places because we don't see them on TV. And I never went to Sierra Leone, so we would just think of, yeah, like you won't say that the ocean, the beaches are beautiful and things like that.
Yeah, because we don't know. So because you said that younger generation don't watch TV. Do you watch TV?
I don't watch TV.
You don't watch TV.
No.
So yeah, so it's also not really represented on social media then.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And also the country doesn't portray it too. They just speak about politics and things like that. I'm not interested in those things.
What do you think for you, what is the most important thing or the most important way to change some of the perceptions, but also some of the things that you feel are not necessarily working in Mauritania?
First of all, we need to hire young people because you can't be old and telling the youth to do something. I mean, you can be old, but you should collaborate with young people because learning from somebody that has lived the things, not like learning from someone else. So if I want to tell people about Africa, it's better for an African to tell about Africans. Not like somebody who came from, another place of the world and telling about Africans. It's not the same thing. So they need to hire young people, like the Minister of Youth, because he represents young people. So he should be young. Yeah, and things like that.
Yeah, so there is a there is a Ministry of Youth.
Yes, but the previous minister was old. The minister we have now is young, and that's better. Yes.
So you've seen change.
Yes, because he invited young influencers, young entrepreneurs, and he spoke with them, and he made collaborations with them. That's better, rather than just speaking and not acting.
What are the things that you are most passionate about the African continent or being part of this continent?
I'm passionate about helping, people that don't have like voices, people that like for example, like now I work, in prison reform, and there are some like great people there, that have changed but that are still incarcerated. And there are people that came out that, nobody wants to help because they were in prison. So I want to give those people a platform where they can come and express themselves. And also I want people to see that, okay, these people, have made mistakes, but now they've changed. So they deserve, second chances.
So you believe that change is possible? People can change?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that change is possible. Yeah.
And how can we as a society, and I would say in Mauritania and in a broader sense, how can we help people get a second chance?
By listening to their stories first before judging them, and also by, trusting them and giving them what they need, because sometimes we don't listen to people. We just judge, and that's a big problem. First, you need to listen to their stories. You need to know where they came from to be able to help them. But if you don't listen to them, I don't think that you will be able to help them because you'll be judging, okay, this guy came from prison, so now I'm not going to work with him because he's dangerous.
And you spoke about your mother and you said that she speaks Fula. How come? What is your mother's background and how? Yeah, so just describe this to us and let us know what it is.
Okay, my mom is Fula. She's from the Job family. Usually, that tribe, they are fishermen. So, yeah. So my dad married her, and that's how I got that language, speaking Pula, because we speak Pula at home with my mom and my grandma. Yeah.
How would you describe the family you grew up in? What did your childhood look like?
Okay, so I would say that I grew up in two different cultures, the Togolese culture and the Pular culture. And that's really beautiful because I could see different things. I could eat different foods, food from Togo and food from Mauritania. And that's really nice. But what I loved is, being with my grandma from Togo and her telling me about her country, about her culture. It's really interesting to me. And that's why I want to visit, the country. Yeah.
How would you describe yourself as a child? What are the things that you were doing? Where did you play? What type of friends group did you have? Describe this to me.
I would say that I was a very calm kid, and I was always at home, playing video games. My dad is an IT manager, so I had a laptop, like a computer since I was a kid. So my computer was my friend. I also had other friends, but I was very calm because I don't know how to explain it, but I was very calm. So when I grew up and I decided to learn English, I said, now I need to learn how to be more comfortable with people because you need to practice with people. You need to get out of your comfort zone. So I started Googling how to overcome your shyness. I started, watching talks, etc. until I believe that I improved. So, yeah.
So what when you Google that, what sort of tips are they giving? How do you overcome your shyness?
How to overcome shyness by, what was the tip I read last time? By going to different people that you don't know, and starting a conversation. I would say that like, if you met me like 3 years ago, I won't be able to speak right now because I would be too scared of people to judge me. But now I'm quite comfortable, I'm quite comfortable because I practiced a lot, I learned from Google, from YouTube, and from other people because I used to go like to different people that I don't know, and just have a discussion with them. So the more you practice, the more you learn. Practice makes perfect.
How would you no, but that's very good. I like the fact that you also, you acknowledge your journey and also you can even compare. And in your mind, what would be the next steps for you in terms of opening a bit more, exploring more, also putting yourself out there more? What do you have in mind?
Yeah. So I have in mind, I want to represent my country because a lot of people, when you tell them you're from Mauritania, they think that you're from Mauritius. And a lot of people, yeah, and yesterday, like, how many people told me that it was their first time meeting a Mauritanian? I mean, it exists and it's so beautiful. So people need to know about it, like any other African country.
So if you could let me know about your country in one sentence, what would you say?
I would say there's a great sense of hospitality in Mauritania. If you were in Mauritania, like I would invite you home, for lunch. That's how Mauritanians are, They like being around people. They're very social. Yes.
And there is, this is a bit political, but I'm sure you're aware of that. There is a structure in Mauritania that is hard to understand. At least I know what Mauritania is and I understand the structure. For people who are completely outside, they may think that a Mauritanian would look a certain way or only one way. And actually, as you said, it's a very multicultural
Yes.
country. How do you think that as a reality, how does that look like? This mixes because you have the mix of the, how do you say that in English? More.
Yeah, we have Moors there.
Yeah, and then you have people who are scholars. You also have people migrated there. But there is also a structure that was a bit firmer because there were different. Some people had access to certain things that others didn't have, and it's changing. But You, as a young Mauritanian, what did you see and how do you see this evolution?
Okay. Yeah, I saw that some people were more privileged, like the white Mauritanians, but it started to change because young people, started getting out of their comfort zones. Because before you would just say, this is normal, they're privileged, okay, that's normal. But now it's not. It's no longer the same thing. They're, more and more getting educated, and they're being inspired by Black Americans, you know. So I think that things started to change, and I believe that one day a Black person will be, a president in Mauritania. Yeah.
So it has not happened
It
yet.
has not happened yet, and I believe it'll happen one day.
So you already told us how you share your Africanness with others. Is there anything that you would like to share? Because this video is going to be in a global platform. Anyone could see it. Is there something that you think is important as an African to tell the world?
Yes, I would say that, Africa is it's very big, and we have rich cultures, in Africa. Africans are not ignorant. Africa is not a country, it's a continent. And I can't process how some people can believe that Africa is one country. I can understand that it's not a country, and Africans are intelligent, they're smart. Yeah.
Thank you very much for trusting me with your story. Thank you for overcoming your shyness. We need a lot more of you. Your voice is very important, and I think you really have a very important things to say. And I would say that you're a great ambassador for Mauritania. So continue doing what you're doing and continue spreading the world, helping people learning different things. And yeah, you're doing great.
Thank you for having me today.